Hey guys, welcome to Tumbleweed Ranch, and if you've been watching our series Taming Tumbleweed, you know that we are in the process of building an off-road course here at Andre's Pit. And in this video, we're not going to be talking about that, but we're going to be talking about that. That is the brand new Hyundai Santa Cruz. It's a compact truck, a trucklet if you will, and Hyundai was kind enough to give it to us for a 1-year long-term review. And so we're going to take it off-road for the very first time and see how it does on the course before it's actually built. Now, if you're wondering about the course, we're doing a brand new series. Those are airing every Sunday. And over there, you'll note we've got some logs, we've got some rocks, and that's because we're going to have different tests in Andre's Pit for different kinds of vehicles. So we're going to have a log course, a rocks course, a holes course testing articulation. And over there we've got the volcano course, which tests approach and depart triangles. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about that. So let's start in the business end of the Santa Cruz, which of course has to be the tailgate. Now the Santa Cruz has a pretty small bed. It's about 4.5 feet in length, but there are some really thoughtful touches here. First and foremost, I love the fact that we've got the kind of this plastic on it because we're using it as a work truck, and I'm already throwing stuff in here. And if this were bare, as many trucks, you'd immediately damage it. The other cool thing, of course, is let me move some of this stuff out of the way and show you how useful this little bed can be. Now, this directly competes with the Ford Maverick. And I would say the difference between the Santa Cruz and the Maverick is that this is more of a lifestyle truck. So I think when they were designing this, they were thinking of, like, you know, throwing a surfboard back here. But, you know, lifestyle, utility, it's all relative to how you want to use it. So it's got this really cool feature right here, which allows you to store, let's say, the drink of your choice or a wetsuit that gets stinky. And then the great thing is when you close this, it actually locks the handle in place so you can't open it. And then of course our tester came with the tan-out cover, which isn't necessarily waterproof, but it is water resistant. Now you've got plenty of tie downs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, these movable ones, 7, 8. You've got lights back here, which is great as well. And then you've got little cubby holes with this, check it out, power. And that is, let's see how many, 115 volts, 150 watts. So, you know, not enough to run a chainsaw, but certainly enough to run or charge things with. Let's kind of talk about the styling. One of the things that they've done, of course, is they've put the step in here a la a Chevy Silverado. I find that really useful, especially now that we're using it as a work truck. Now the tires on this one are not the most off-road worthy. These are all seasons. And you know, we're probably going to swap these out because we do want to turn this into more of a rugged off-roader. And with this size wheel that we got, you can actually put a pretty good size all-terrain tire on there. So I'm looking forward to doing that. Get your little Easter eggs right there. And of course, show them over here, Alex. There's a little back window that opens up, which is very useful, especially when you got somebody in the bed and you want to talk to them. The other cool thing about, of course, this compact truck is that, like, from here on, it's basically a Tucson. So if you want a truck that has the bed but has the comfort of a crossover, this is certainly the one. And one of the very unique things is in the front here, and that is, you would think normally that these would be the lights, or this or this or that. This all does light up at night, but the light's right there actually, which is really cool. So at night this has a really unique, I'm going to call it a shield pattern, just because I talked to the guy who designed it, and that's what he called it. So there's this really cool shield pattern. You cannot miss this truck when it's coming at you at night. It's so unique. Now we did already take it down into the course, and we found that this little plastic bit is not grand. As you can tell, it got a little scratched up. So the first thing we did when we got the skid steer back here is we took out the little pointy bushes. Come on in with me and let's talk about the inside. Now the interior is just like a Tucson. This is the bigger of the two engine choices, which has an upside and a downside. So the upside is that it's turbocharged, and up here at 5,000 feet above sea level, we love turbos. The downside is that with the turbo, you only have one choice, and that is the dual clutch transmission. Now for off-roading, dual clutches aren't grand. Hyundai says that they have improved this one, but Nevertheless, I'd rather have the traditional transmission, but then you have to have the smaller engine. But it does have all-wheel drive, and it does have, check this out right there, a lockable center diff. Paddle shifters, which I probably won't use, a sunroof, very comfortable seats, good seating position. I would say in the back they're a little bit too upright for my liking, but otherwise I have very few complaints about this. So let's go and see how it does off-road. I think I'm just going to lock the center diff. And the other cool thing about the center diff, which I recently discovered, is when you lock it and you cycle the start-stop button, it actually stays locked. Now, is it a true locker? Probably not. An electronic locker, yes. But let's see how this truck does going off-road. Now, the one thing that, of course, this course is being designed for are typical crossovers. So they will not have a low range, and so this Santa Cruz also doesn't have a low range. And we've got a little bit of property that kind of butts up against the foothills, and we're going to be constructing a much more difficult off-road course there for things like Jeeps and Broncos. But we have made this interesting because to our right, Alex, if you show them, that is what we're affectionately calling the poop pile, because that's where we dumped all the poop that we found on the ranch, and that's going to be the booby pile if the vehicle cannot make it up the hill. So here we go into Andre's pit. Once again, this has kind of a trick torque vectoring system where it will try to send power to whatever wheel has the most traction. Now, down here in the pit, we are building, like I said, a whole bunch of different courses. This one over here is going to be the rock course, so we're going to put rocks there. David is in the process of laying down the logs for the log course, and I'm going to go up what we'll affectionately call the holes course. We're going to dig holes and do this as a test of articulation. So let's see how this truck does going up the holes course. I think it's not going to be a big deal right now because obviously we haven't built the obstacle yet, so it's just a little bit of an uphill crawl. And here we go, up the hill. Easy peasy, so far lemon squeezy. When this has big holes in it and the truck will start to get sideways, that's going to be much more interesting. But yeah, you know, it does have a low enough range, even though it doesn't have a low range, that I didn't feel like I was doing too much of a herky-jerky kind of going up that hill. In general, I'm really impressed by this truck. It's been really an eye-opener to see just how popular small trucks like this, compact trucks like this are. And for the longest time, I remember I was asking all the manufacturers, guys, people love trucks, you know, they're the quintessential American vehicle. Why aren't you building a bigger one? And they all had various excuses like the chicken tax, and Google that if you want to know what that is. But at the end of the day, it took Ford and now Hyundai to actually build a small compact truck. And I think it was a smart choice. I think people are really loving the fact that they can have a vehicle that they can use to haul garden stuff. Obviously, this is going to be used to haul skid steers, but also be able to park them in their garage. Actually, a truck that works in places like Los Angeles where, you know, there is limited parking space, and something that's cool and funky and different, because at the end of the day, everything is, you know, more cool and funky and different if it is cool and funky and different. Come on with me for a second, Alex, and we'll wrap this up. So yeah, I think proper tires and, you know, a little bit of overlanding sprinkled on top of it, maybe put a rooftop tent, take it to Moab and see how it does. I'm really super psyched to have this for a year for testing. We're going to talk about fuel economy, of course, with gas prices going through the roof. I think driving here to the ranch, I've been getting about 23 mpg combined, and that, you know, isn't grand, but, you know, for a very utilitarian vehicle with a bed, you know, it could be much worse. So we'll also do some towing with it. This does have a tow rating of up to 5,000 pounds. And the crazy thing about it is, if you've seen some of our other videos, is that we actually have 1,400 pounds of payload. Let me just put that into perspective. A Jeep Gladiator diesel would have 900 pounds of payload. So this has more payload than most mid-sized trucks. So it's really in the realm of a full-size truck. And so we will be towing with it, we will be hauling with it. And then right now, I'm gonna have to go help David because he's working really hard over there, laying down the logs for the log course. Hey David, can I help you?
Yeah, I'm out of breath.
He's out of breath. So I'm gonna go help him. And then if you guys wanna follow along with us transforming Tumbleweed Ranch into a proper off-road test facility, every Sunday we're going to be running the video series Taming Tumbleweed, or just go to TFL-studios.com for more news, views, and of course real world reviews from Tumbleweed Ranch. See you guys next time. Ciao. Go do it, dude.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
let's see. We don't want to crash.
You can fire it right up.
How about like massaging seats?
It's a seat heater. It has an air ride seat and it has a seat heater.
this is the first time I've ever used a backup camera.
Welcome to 2019. Actually, welcome to 2009.
Play with those a little bit. till
Oh,
you get
that's
used
comfy,
to 'em.
dude.
I know, it's got a cush ride right there. There you go.
I figured out the horn.
I didn't read the instructions. So.